What's good, YouTube? DM Gaming here, guys. And jumping straight into it, we got V-Jump scans already out for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And as you can see on the screen, yes, they are adapting this DLC off of the History of Trunks, which we knew that. That's not a surprise. But they're already showing us that we'll be facing the androids. They even have us showed here we'll be fighting in a city. We'll get to actually fight over the city and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go over the V-Jumps, go over the scans, tell you what they're talking about. We'll look at the images and stuff like that. So here's just showing you Android 17 and 18. And basically it's telling you here that they're powered up and they have some new attacks. And this is what it's going into detail about are those attacks. So this one to the right, it's saying that they have an attack where it looks like 17's barrier, but that's not what it is. I mean, it's Android 17's attack, but he puts out this thing, and if you run into it or if it touches you, then you get trapped inside of it. Think like Frieza's paralyzed beam, or kind of like Gildo or Chaozu's little paralyze. It's a paralyze. It paralyzes you. That's what it does. Okay. And then here, down below it right here, Android 18, basically she can expel this enormous amount of ki. Think about our little blowback attack, but super duper magnified. And if you touches it, it says that you will take massive damage, guys. And then they also have a combination attack right here, which is really, really dope. Now, I do want to go down here because this basically tells us also that this is they said the History of Trunks, which has a manga adaptation and an anime adaptation, is getting a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot adaptation. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go look at the manga because I know that there may be some differences in the manga and the anime that are going to be important. Sometimes the manga tends to have a little bit more stuff, a little bit more depth than the anime. And they kind of talk about that, telling the story in a special way. So and I know the main question now is, how is this going to be the length of an arc? How is this going to be 8 to 12 hours? And guys, I've said before, the 8 to 12 hours is easily attainable, but we also have to understand that the 8 to 12 is an average. When you look at the 4 arcs that are in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and the game being 35 to 40 hours long, that breaks down to about 8 hours at the least for the length of each individual arc. And the producer himself said this would be on par with one story saga. You know, so 8 to 12, 6 to 8, it's somewhere in there, guys. It's gonna be lengthy. You know, that's what, just going off of what they said. Now, this information here is just telling you about the season pass. DLC 3 is telling you it costs 2,200 yen, stuff like that. Kakarot season pass, 2,750. You know, it's just telling you information about the DLC. The season pass. It's not telling you any information about the DLC. But just looking at these scans again, zoomed out, as you can see, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Look at that. Android 17 and 18 getting some new attacks. And like I said, they will be fighting together. And I know President Rose has even pointed out, he's been the only one that I've been hearing talk about actually being able to fight in the city and stuff like that. And from this screenshot, it looks like you'll be able to do that, actually fight over the city and stuff. And I think the reason they're able to do that now is because the city is destroyed. Whereas before, the city wasn't destroyed. So it'd be really cool if you can actually kind of, I ain't gonna say cool to blow up some buildings, but you know, who's not thinking that? So let's go to the next scan. The next image here, starting at the top, we have just the flashback here that we saw before. So guys, this game is starting after And it tells you that in the trailer that it's starting 13 years after these events that aspired here at the top with Vegeta and them passing away and stuff like that. So I can zoom out for this one right here. They're showing Trunks, and yes, you are seeing right, guys. Armless Gohan is going to be in the DLC. Yes, and they are we're gonna see that scene where he loses his arm. This is huge, and this is the work of CC2. And because I think there's only been one game where Gohan didn't have his arm. Future Gohan didn't have his arm. And the important thing about this, guys, is because it's been a censorship issue. Okay, so the authentic nature of this game, for them to, because we look in this screenshot, Gohan got his arms. He's got both of his arms. Look at this screenshot up here. He's got both of his arms, right? He's got both of them. So guys, we're gonna see we're gonna see it all. Now, my question now is there gonna be more? You know what I'm saying? What more is there gonna be? Because we know that the future Trunks, the history of Trunks was only like a 45-minute special. That doesn't make sense to make it the length of an arc. I mean, in all reality, let's be real. It should really be more of a boss battle episode. But no, he said this will be on par with the story arc. So yeah, we're going to fight the androids multiple times. I'm sure they're going to be training. Now, what I would like to see is where we get to the end of the history of Trunks. And this is my prediction, guys, my pure speculation. Is that when we get to the end of we're in the movie, The History of Trunks, Trunks goes back in time, we actually get to play that part where we go back into Goku's timeline where we fought Frieza, which we already did in the main story. I don't trip if we get to do that, but I would like to have the battle against Perfect Cell with Trunks where we go Super Saiyan Ascended, and then also where we go back into Trunks' timeline and fight the androids and defeat them, and fight Cell and defeat him. This is what I honestly want, but this is what I think is gonna happen. I think when it comes time for Trunks to go back into his time and back into Goku's timeline, that we don't get to play that. Because by us getting to play that, they would have to essentially make Goku and them playable characters, or Vegeta at least a playable character. Because Trunks didn't fight with Vegeta. Vegeta was there, but he didn't fight Cell with Vegeta. So, but the way that I think that they'll do that part is they'll make it kind of like one of those flashback montage kind of things, cut scenes a little bit where they show what happened through the little slide images like they did with the Super Saiyan God transformation. It's kind of like a slide where they're just saying, oh, this is what happened when Trunks went back into that timeline, since we already played it. And then they'll fast forward to us going back into Trunks' timeline after he's trained with Vegeta, after the Cell stuff, where we'll actually get to defeat the androids and have to fight Cell, which probably, guys, is going to be the main boss of all this. Because remember, Cell is still an android. You see what I'm saying? And Cell is more powerful than androids 17 and 18. So even though this is a struggle of fight with the androids, I think that Cell, Imperfect Cell, ends up becoming the main boss of DLC 3. And I know a lot of y'all are going to say, this sucks. We already fought the androids and stuff like that. But you have to understand that you're playing with Kid Trunks or Teen Trunks and future Gohan, who are not near as strong as Goku and Vegeta. I mean, even fighting against the androids in the saga, in the main game, they're not as strong as Vegeta was. You see what I'm saying? Not to mention the way that we're fighting the androids, as y'all can see in the previous slide, we're fighting them together, man. They're both going to be out there. This is not going to be easy. I'm trying to tell y'all that. It's not going to be easy. But let me go over the rest of these scans real quick. So we got Trunks here looking before a ravaged West City. So it doesn't seem to be that we'll be able to go to different locations. We may just be confined to this particular location, which it's gonna suck, but I also understand it because even in the history of Trunks, Trunks wasn't going all over the place. He was really in one city, really more than one city though. I guess when in the history of Trunks, when they name in these different cities, they're more like communities. Like West City is the main city, but you have different communities within that city. Kind of like Dallas. Think like Dallas, where you have Dallas, but then you also have Irving, you have Arlington, you have Grand Prairie, and that's for those Texas people. Y'all the ones would understand. But these scans here, these translations are just talking about exactly that. They're talking about how the city is damaged and ravaged and things like that. This scan pointing down is just talking about us fighting with Gohan and future Gohan and Trunks. That's what this translation is talking about. It's not giving us any in-depth information, and it's telling us here we'll be playing with Gohan will be a playable character. Here it's saying that Trunks will be a playable character. So we'll be with those two. You see what I'm saying? Or Gohan will be in it. It didn't. I didn't see it say playable, but it did say it for Trunks. I'll go back and look at the translation again, just to make sure, because I don't want to give y'all the wrong information. We definitely want to give y'all the most up to date and accurate information. Excuse me. It says Trunks. This part right here, where the mouse is at, it says Trunks struggles alone. That's what it says there. Now, I'm pretty sure this here is telling you that Gohan is a playable character because it's similar to this part right here that says playable character Trunks. Yes, this says playable character Trunks, and this, so Gohan will be playable, guys. This part right here says playable character, okay? And this is the kanji for Gohan's name. You can even see this part right here is the same kanji for the Son Goku family. If you look at the Goku kanji, the Goku gi, this right here is, so it's basically saying Son Gohan of the Son Goku family, of the Son family. It doesn't say Son Goku, it's the Son family. That's their kanji right there. But I know y'all don't care about that, but just, you know, a little history lesson. And another thing to point out is Trunks' attacks. He has the little super duper Trunks kick or whatever like that. But this is what's interesting, and this is what I told y'all would happen while we would get two different versions. It's not the same Gohan, and it's not the same Trunks. They're two separate characters from what we have in the main game. This Trunks, like I told y'all, would have the Masenko, as you can see him using the Masenko here, because he's going to have some of those moves because he's trained by Gohan. And this proves even further that it is a separate Trunks. Now, the reason why it's a separate Trunks, guys, is because the Trunks that's in the game, we don't get him until we beat the main game, okay? And then after we beat DLC 1, he was unlocked, and DLC 2, he was unlocked. Now, this Trunks is going to put the Trunks that we have, it's going to put it all together, guys. So we're going to have some more moves. We're going to have the Masenko and stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool to see the attacks that we have. And guys, we may even get the infamous one-arm Kamehameha with future Gohan. Now, he is going to be playable. Now, this is a big deal because that, you know, people were concerned about that. How is future Gohan going to be playable when he died? Obviously, they don't care, and you should have known that, you know. And he's playable, but I think he's going to be an actual playable character where we have to upgrade his skill tree and things like that as well. Because when you notice Vegito, they never said that Vegito and Gotenks was quote unquote playable characters, and we know how they played out, where you just use them for the mission. I'm sorry, my phone notifications going off and stuff like that, but this is the V-Jump scans, guys. We'll go over it again, just so y'all can see it. They're showing Android 17 and 18, destroyed West City. 17 and 18 are fighting together. There's some new combo attacks and things like that, you know. Now, what I wonder is, are we going to fight them together at the same time every time? And then also, like I said, I believe that if it goes, because it's saying here, literally saying, guys, it's going off of the history of Trunks, a more detailed story. So I think we were right in that regard in saying how that story is going to be told. it's gonna be a fight for survival, guys. It's gonna be tough because remember, Trunks and future Gohan are not as powerful as Goku and Vegeta, especially in this timeline. So it's going to be a struggle. But my speculation for the final main boss is going to be future Imperfect Cell, because he was stronger than 17 and 18. Remember that. People forget about that. Even though Trunks defeated him with ease, so I wonder how they're going to handle that part. How they're going to handle when Trunks comes back into his timeline. So my speculative prediction is that we will play through the entire history of Trunks in a more detailed format. And from there, when it gets to the part where we go back into Goku's timeline, I don't think that they'll let us fight against Perfect Cell as like Ultra Trunks or whatever. And I don't think that they let us. I don't think they let us play that part out. I think what'll happen is they kind of do like that still frames, the still frame slideshow like they did with Super Saiyan God, where they basically told you what happened. I think they'll tell us that because we've technically already played it. Aside from the fight with Cell, with Trunks and stuff like that, we've already played that other stuff where we fought Frieza and stuff, and this is a story without Goku. So it doesn't make sense for them to do that. It doesn't make sense for them to do that because Goku would then be involved in the story more or less, especially with the fight with Frieza. But I digress. I think they'll do that as a slideshow, and they'll fast forward to us going back to Trunks' timeline after the Cell saga, okay? And then we'll actually come back to here where we fight the androids and we fight Perfect Cell, or Imperfect Cell, with a more powered up version of Trunks. The only reason I think that we may actually get to play some of Trunks going back to Goku's timeline is because they're gonna have to show that's where Trunks gained the strength to be able to defeat the androids. You get what I'm saying? And so it makes sense for them to at least let us play the part where we train against Perfect Cell. We train against Vegeta in the time chamber. I know you're going to say, well, they already did that. No, in the main story, we were fighting as Vegeta against Trunks. So it would be really, really, really cool if they actually allowed us to do some missions where we go with Vegeta and train in the past timeline, and where we also get to fight against Perfect Cell with Super Saiyan Ascended. You see what I'm saying? Maybe we get that transformation. I don't think that we do, because you have to understand that transformation made Trunks very slow, and he didn't use that against the androids or Imperfect Cell when he went back into his timeline. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do that. They could switch it up and give us Super Saiyan 2, and even though we know that's not where Trunks got Super Saiyan 2 from, for the sake of originality and things like that, and giving us a new transformation, because I'm pretty sure they know these guys want a new transformation, I think they may give us Super Saiyan 2 to be able to defeat the androids and things like that. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. I just really wanted to present y'all with the V-jumps and the translations and show y'all what's going on, letting y'all know, hey, it is following the story of the history of Trunks. And I know people are going to be flooding the comments, and that's perfectly fine, asking how is this going to be 8 to 12 hours? Guys, I think there's more to show. There has to be more to show, because down here they actually even say there'll be more information coming at a later date. So this isn't it. The fact that they're giving us this means that there is definitely more. And are there going to be some new mechanics? Are there going to be some new things to the game, to this DLC? Hopefully so. And I would even like if there's like a free update along with it, but I don't think there is. I hadn't seen them working on it in the Steam files, but I digress. I really think there's going to be more. The fact that they're giving us this straight up means that there's potentially some more stuff. I don't know what else they can show us. You see what I'm saying? If they're saying that they're showing more at a later date, that means that there is more to be seen. And I think what's going to be seen is us being able to go back into the past timeline, in Goku's timeline, where we don't interact with Goku so much, but we more or less get to train with Vegeta, get stronger, maybe get a new transformation, come back to the timeline, this timeline, defeat the androids, and fight Imperfect Cell as the main boss. But I'm going to leave that, like I said, for a separate video so I can go more detail into it. I'm going to research the manga to see the differences between the two, this and the anime and stuff like that. And I'm going to get back with y'all on that. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. Hit that like button, guys. That's all I got for right now. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.